Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the random review series. DBougie86 here again. Now, the film I got for you guys today is a brand new release from Artsploitation Films, which is actually one of my favorite companies out there right now. They release a lot of cool, interesting titles from all around the world, and this one's no exception. And it's an Australian film, and it goes by the title of Observance. Yes. Now, this film has a very interesting plot. It's kind of like spoilish, the whole plot, so I'll try to give you as much as I can before I ruin the whole film for you, you know what I mean? I'm not going to really go into like the spoiler-ish of this film. I'll explain it in a brief synopsis of what it's about. Now, what I gathered from this film, it's about like this main guy, Parker, that's his character's name. He's a private investigator who's going through a rough inch with his personal life at the moment. So he ends up taking this job with this private contractor client where he ends up private investigating this woman. Now, the only thing that's going on is he actually doesn't know why he's watching this woman per se. And so he ends up staying in like this apartment across the street, which has been abandoned for a while, it seems, from when you look at it. And I gotta say, stuff just starts happening around this apartment while there's also this mystery of what's going on between this woman and this woman's house, because he's learning a little bit more history about what's going on in there. And then a lot of like interesting weird things start happening around the apartment that he's staying at. Like he starts hearing noises, he starts seeing like images, he starts having these vivid nightmares, as I call them. And there's a mystery between that too, and he's trying to figure out what is going on before it's too late. That's pretty much the main plot of the film without giving away too much in it. Now, my thoughts on this film: it's a very interesting like character development study. It has a lot of slow tension in it. With this type of film, you're gonna expect that. This film is really reminiscent of like Roman Polanski's films Repulsion and The Tenant, which were all set in like this apartment style complex area. And it has a little homages to like Hitchcock's Rear Window in it too. That's what they were going on about with like the private investigation part of this film. There's a lot of like psychosis going on in this film. You've really got to figure out, like, build up the pieces while watching the film, what is going to happen at the very end of it. And you got to figure out what is going on, and you got to figure out what is going on if he's actually seeing this stuff or it's part of like what's going on in his mind. Because we find out like earlier in the film why he's the way he is, and he has a dark like past of something that happened in his personal life and why him and his wife are split. There is some character development there. I don't want to really give it away because it might give away a lot of stuff that goes on in the film. But I gotta say, like, it involves some of the dream sequences too. That's why I don't want to really give it away. Now, the acting for the most part is good. Lindsay Ferris is our main character, Parker. He does a really great job in his role, I have to say, and add. And there's a lot of like side characters in this film that, like the main girl and other guy in the film, we don't really get to hear them talk till like the third act of the film because he's watching them pretty much throughout the whole film. We do get like the client, the employer's what he's known in the film, but he's just a voice on the telephone, and he's a very interesting character because that's the only like, besides another character that I want to really talk about because it is a very important scene in the film, but he's the only other side characters. Well, it is actually two. I forgot it. I'm gonna mention that in a minute. That he actually talks to, and another character that he actually talks to is his brother-in-law, and another character is I believe he's like a cop that works with him and gives him information on certain things when he needs it. And the cool thing about the cop is he's actually played by John Jarrett, who all us like Aussie horror fans should know from like Wolf Creek. He's Mick Taylor, who has a very small part. He's only in like one scene, but the presence of John Jarrett there is really reminiscent of like what the type of setting this film is, because it is an Australian film. Now the setting for the most part is awesome. It's a really like the apartment that they use for like where he stays at is very grimy and dirty. There's a lot of like dirt all over the walls and stuff, like black mold everywhere. It's kind of disgusting to look at if you look at glimpses of it, but it goes well with the story and the psychosis of the character too. Now the musical score is very claustrophobic, which I really enjoyed because it sets the tone for the film and it zoos in. It's very quiet. It's not like a high octane like score, but it settles for this type of film that it is. It's really well done in airing the parts that it needs to be in, and it's really settled when it needs to be also. And I gotta say, like for some people this might be a turnoff if you're not a fan or haven't ever seen like Roman Polanski's Repulsion or The Tenet, because this film is definitely like influenced by those films, because those are like slow build-up films too, and I can see a lot of people like getting turned off by the slow buildiness of it. But if you like slow burns like I do, then you'll have no problem with this film. Now the ending, I have to say, I wasn't really knowing what to expect with it. I did enjoy it for the most part. I was kind of like confused in some scenes of it, but I understood what was going on and I understood why it happened. And I like that about the film, like, because it's an ending that makes you think and look back on what was going on and earlier in the film and what was going on and like certain scenes and why these characters were acting this way. So yeah, it was a really interesting watch, and it had great filmmaking. I liked the atmosphere of it. It had a lot of great atmospheric shots in nighttime, of course, and well done. I like the psychological thrillers, tongue twister there. But yeah, it was a really blast. If I had to rate Observance, I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. It's nothing too mind blowing, and it does reminisce to the early days of like Polanski and Hitchcock's work, and I really dug it. Now for special features, this release doesn't really have much. It has like a prefix of Observance. That's the name of the special feature on it, which it has like the two main actors in the film talking about the film for like 3 minutes, which kind of bums me out that there was not a lot more special features on this release, because I kind of wanted to know more about the ideas of like the director and the filmmakers, maybe like a commentary track, if you know what I mean. But yeah, still a worthwhile release. I do recommend it. So 7.5 for Observance. So yeah, def check it out. Alright guys, that's it for this random review. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back soon with another one for you guys. So I'll see you then. Peace out.